Hi, welcome to OneHash. In this video, we will see how we can set up complete HR modules in OneHash. We can do this with the help of these steps. Let's bifurcate the complete HR setup into these 4 steps. First, we will start with organization setup. Second is the leave setup. Then comes the payroll setup. Then is the recruitment setup. And at the end, we will do the performance management. To begin with, let's start with the organization setup. First, we set all the required master data, like employee creation. Before the creation of an employee, we require employment types, like permanent, temporary, or contract-based, etc. In case we are having multiple departments like accounting and sales, etc. Designations of all the employees, what all designations we have. Grade structure is based on the seniority structure every organization have. Then we are required to set up the global settings for HR. All the leave types, like leave applications, holiday lists, etc., can be created, and the entire leave policy can be managed for all employees across the company. Then, we will proceed with the payroll and the recruitment. To begin with, first, we will set up the organization. Whenever we come to OneHash and click on HR, we see all the master doc types here, and we can set the employment type, branches. We already have a predefined employment type. In case you want to modify anything, you can do it by either delete or rename it as per your need. Whatever operation you want to perform, you can do it with employment types. For now, I'm leaving it with a standard list. When coming on to the branch, we can set as many office locations as we desire. I'm keeping this in Delhi and Mumbai. You can add many by clicking here. Let's say I had an office in Indore. The system comes with a predefined list of all the departments. For all companies that we're selecting, these departments get automatically created based on the domain we have selected. In case we want to modify it, we can modify it. As you can see, the department is a tree structure. Department is in tree structures. We can use any operation as we do in any pre-document type. We can make it a group. We can add sub-departments within the department. The complete part can be done. For now, I'm leaving it with the standard department list. In case you want to add new, you can add new on the designation. All the major designations are already created into the system. In case your organization has a different designation structure, you can create your own by adding more designations. In designation, we have additional fields as well. It indicates the total skill set required to attain this designation. For now, we can directly add all the designations that are applicable. Then we will be working on appraisals, promotions, and transfers. At that time, we can cover it in detail. Grades, you can set according to the organization structure. Let's say you might have a senior manager or managers, or you want to define it in an ABC structure. You can select the default salary structure for any particular grade. For now, I'm not assigning any default salary structure to any grade. In that case, I would assign the default salary structure, and it will be assigned to the employees falling under this employee grade. If you want to import all these details via Excel, you can use the import option, or you can simply come to the list view. You can click here and click import, or you can directly navigate to the data import with the help of Awesome Bar. You can search for the data import. You can create new data imports. If you want to import the designation, you can select the designation and select the import type. Insert a new record, you can save it. You can download the template in case you want some pre-filled record, and you can select it. You can select the desired format, and you can export it. After exporting, you can fill in the required details like, I want to add some more designations like floor manager, etc. Likewise, you can add other parameters for more detail, about how we can use the data import, you can refer to the data import tutorial video. You can move back to the data import list for the designations we have created. We attach that file and upload it. If we import and there is any error and validation, then it will be available. Otherwise, the code will be imported. It may take some time to import. Once it is done, you can check the status by refreshing it. Once it is done, you will see the success. So once you have clicked on Start Import, either it will be having some error, or it will be in progress. Once it is imported, the status will be changed to Success. You can see all 3 records created. In case of any report is getting failed, you can check the failed error logs. In a similar way, you can import the grades as well. For a smaller number of records, it would be recommended to create them manually, instead of using the time quote. You can attach it back. We click on Start Import. It will take some time. Once it is processed, it will be imported. So once we have configured the branch designation employee grade, employee group, we can create if people are working into the group, or we require at some places where like in support. So that can be configured at a later stage, where we can group people according to their working on any particular section. You can set up insurance for all your employees. You can set all health insurance provider details. You can set the insurance provider or the policy name plan according to your easy remembrance, and accordingly these details can be fetched in employee master data. Once this part is set, we are good to go and create employee records. So whenever we create a new employee, we get the option to which company we are adding this employee. As you know, OneHash supports multi-companies as well. We can use these, select the relevant company, and add new employees under that company. We have already set the required master data. Now we proceed with further configuration and add all our employee list annotations and the details that you want to set. You can set it. For all the details like employment type, you can select the required employment details that are applicable, and all the emergency contact and emergency phone number. What is the relation with the person for which we are adding these details? Then creating the OneHash user. So, in case you want to give them access to the system for self-login. In that case, we can map it, else we can leave it blank. Other joining details like, what was the offer confirmation date? All the details we can set, all the department designations, and can map them in case some department is missing. So all the details we can select, like a grid and what grid is applicable. We can select those old grades. We can select the designation. What is the site designation? What is their branch? You can select which employee they are reporting to. We can select that employee as well, who will be their approver for expense. At the time of creating the employee, it's not compulsory to fill in all these details. These details can be updated at a later stage as well. But before proceeding, if we set all the required details, then it becomes easier to perform the operations. If you have already set up masters properly with required data, in that case we get all the operations smoothly, else we need to look back and check what we have missed on any particular doc type. We can add all the details whether it is their personal details or other details. All these details come from employees. Once we have created employees, we are ready for the organization setup. We are now left with the HR settings we can search for in the awesome search bar. Here we can set what will be the retirement age for the organization. What will be the standard working hours? In case you want to stop the auto email sent on birthday, we can disable it. If you want expense approval to be mandatory, Then the user has to select who will do the approval for the expense of all the claims. In case we don't want it, we can disable it. On leaves, if we want to send the notification, we can set. So what should be the email template on approval? What will be the leave status notifications? If you want to show the leave of all the department members in calendar view, we can enable auto leave encashment. We can enable it if you want. Users should not be able to apply backdated leaves, and that configuration is possible. Similarly, things can be configured for the hiring as well. This can be controlled from the global settings. Once our organization is set up, then we are good to go, and start with setting up the leaves. We require configuration of the leave type, holiday list, and leave policy. Let's come back to the HR module and see what all setup is required for setting up leaves. The first thing is the creation of a holiday list. We can create a holiday list by giving it a name. You can select from when to which date this is applicable. We can add weekly offs, and add all the Sundays in the selected duration to the holiday list. Now let's say we have Saturday off. We can add Saturdays as well. Now in holiday list, all the Sunday and Saturdays are being added. In case we have some half-day policy, that can also be included. Whenever the user is applying these leaves, then what color should be seen in the calendar that can be highlighted by selecting a color. Once all standard holidays are being added, we can add the remaining by clicking on Add Row, and we can select the date on which this leave is applicable. Let's say we add Christmas on the 25th of December. In that case, we can uncheck the description. System validates for the duplicate date, in case it finds some date is colliding with the predefined date. In that case, it might give you the validation error. In such cases, it is recommended to have only one record for a particular date. This way we can add all the desired holidays. In case you want imported with the data import, we can refer to the data import documentation. Once we have added all the holidays, we can move to the next step, where we can set the leave types. Coming to the leave type system, it comes pre-configured with leave without pay, leave compensatory, or CL. In case we have other leave types, we can select those. Can define the leave type and set the name for that leave type. We can give a name to the leave. Let's say, for example, we can set the number of leaves given in that particular leave type. This is the field that allows us the flexibility to set the maximum number of leaves that employees can apply during leave period. We can set this configuration like applicable after working days. To set, let's say, if an employee has a tenure of minimum 6 months, the restriction that he can avail only this type of leave can be set. If he has completed 6 months in the organization, they can apply for this leave. When we are having the maximum continuous days applicable, so maximum continuous days refers to the maximum number of days in a particular leave type that can be availed at a stage. Let's say, for example, we set it to 5. If any employees apply for 6 days leave instead of defined days that are 5, then the system will restrict him. Their extended leave may be considered as leave without pay. These are optional settings. In case we don't want to set any restrictions, then we can leave these fields blank. During this period, this will be carried to the next cycle leaves without pay. In this case, the user will not get any payout. If any such leave is being applied, then there will be a deduction in pay. It's optional. Sometimes we might require such leaves. We want these to expire after a duration. We can set it as an optional leave. Optional leaves are holidays which employees can choose to avail from the list of holidays published by the company. The company list for the optional list can be any number of holidays, but can restrict the number of such leaves by setting the max days leave is allowed. Allow negative balance. In this case, even if the user is not having the balance for these leaves, the user can apply for these kinds of leaves. This includes holidays within leaves as leaves. It is for the sandwich policy that some organizations prefer. Let's say some user is taking leave on the weekend. Let's say an employee is taking leave on Friday, or taking leave on Monday, then Saturday and Sunday will also be counted as leave. The leave gets clubbed. If it is in comp off, then we can select it as compensatory leave. For compensatory leave, users need to request it via compensatory leave request. Once we configure all leave types, if we want encashment, then we can select the threshold dates based on the eligibility. If an employee is eligible to encash leave. Let's take an example. If there are 10 leaves in a particular leave type, which is encashable, and the employee has 8 leaves left. If the threshold days are 5 days, then employees are given encashment only for 3 leaves. So user would have to keep a minimum of that many leaves before requesting for encashment. The leave encashment is being processed via the additional salary, and it gets added in the salary slip. We can select the earning component, and it gets processed. In case the leave is earned, then what will be the basis? We give it on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. We can select it if it is based on the date of joining, then leave will be granted on the day of joining every month. Rounding, we want it on fraction of 0.5 or 0.25. We can select that part as well. This is leave type for configuring how many leaves will be given or allotted to which employee on what basis. They will be covered in leave allocation. We can configure a leave period from here, and for a selected leave period we can select what will be the optional leaves. All the optional leaves users will be able to apply from the list of optional leaves. If this leave period is active, we can mark it as active. In case the optional holiday list is not applicable, we can leave it blank. The next part is the creation of a leave allocation. For each employee, what kind of leave we want it to set, whether it is a PL from which date to which date. This is how we can set up the leave. Thank you.